Triple H, a man who has lived through many eras of professional wrestling, and all that grind has helped him become a household name within the wrestling business. But even when his wrestling career is over, his mind to the business has grown, as he has taken his talents to work on NXT to then eventually taking over and becoming the head writer of WWE entirely. Everyone seems to be discussing all the highlights throughout his career, but yet no one wants to speak about his last underrated run as an active performer. Hola everyone, my name is Nando, and for today's video I'm here to discuss Triple H's last active run in the WWE, which lasted from 2014 all the way to 2016. Now before we get into this was a bad idea, this really looks stupid on me. Let's lay some strict ground rules. So yes, Triple H has had matches after 2016, but I'm speaking more about his run from 2014 to 2016 because, well, he was the most active in matches and storylines. Like in 2016 when Triple H betrayed Seth Rollins and it took Seth over 5 months to realize where Triple H worked every week. It led to one match and that was that. Then Triple H went off to have one-off special matches just like this, and oh my gosh, go away. But then there's his 2014 to 2016 run where he had a total of 7 matches throughout his big storyline as the Authority. So I hope that explains everything. Let's cut all the yap and get on with the video. It all started at SummerSlam 2013. John Cena defended his WWE champion against Daniel Bryan, with Triple H as the special guest referee as he didn't want Vince to try and pull a Montreal screwjob on Daniel Bryan since Vince didn't see any potential in Daniel Bryan being a world champion. So the match happens and Bryan has become the new WWE champion. It was a complete shock to everybody. They really gave our boy the champion. This is how it should end. Then Randy Orton came out with his briefcase and Triple H turned heel to help Randy Orton become a 7-time world champion. This is what kickstarted the faction known as the Authority, basically the Temu version of Vince McMahon's corporation, with the Authority figures taking over the company while also keeping the world title hostage with an established name. And they're just waiting for the rising hero to take the stand and destroy the faction within, which will be this guy, right? Right? Anyways, Triple H explains that he did what he did to Daniel Bryan because he has to do what's best for business. That's why we made Pat McAfee the main character of our world title program. And throughout 2013 to 2014, the Authority took over as one of the main characters of the show, and it was always the worst parts of the show. Bland matches, DQ finishes, Suit Kane in its ugliest form, Big Show crying all the damn time. But there were some upsides, with Triple H getting so sick of Daniel Bryan trying to get his world title opportunity back without being screwed over so much throughout the last couple of months. He challenged Bryan to a match at WrestleMania 30, and if he wins that, he gets to be inserted into the world title match at the main event of the show. Now this only happened out of a pure miracle, as CM Punk was set to be Triple H's opponent at WrestleMania, while Daniel Bryan, who was the company's biggest babyface in the company, as fans were cheering for him like crazy every single week on television throughout. But then they thought, how about this guy, this over guy that we have in our company? Why doesn't he go to WrestleMania and face Sheamus? Oh boy! Now keep this in mind, Sheamus is not a bad opponent per se, it's just nobody really cared for Sheamus. And Sheamus only really started to pick up in having these banger matches with Drew McIntyre in the pandemic era. But right now, Sheamus, in 2014, was just Sheamus. This was such a big downgrade to give to your top babyface that has a fan base begging for him to be a world champion.
Vince had a meeting with me in January of that year, before the thing, and he goes, I've got an idea for you for WrestleMania. I think you're really going to be excited about it. And I thought, when he said that to me, I thought it's going to be Shawn Michaels, because Shawn Michaels had done a thing with me. I had wrestled Randy Orton in a Hell in a Cell match, and he was the referee, and he ended up super kicking me, and Randy Orton wins. It's like, Shawn's going to come out of retirement, and he's going to wrestle me. This is going to be awesome, right? He goes, you're going to wrestle Sheamus. And I was like, and I love Sheamus. We had great chemistry, but it was like, oh, that's not like That's not where I thought this was going.
But lucky for Bryan, things got nixed at the very last minute as CM Punk in 2013 was currently having a run where he was like, I'm done, I'm dying, and I want to leave. So in 2014, Punk left the company, and with Triple H feeling really needy for a WrestleMania match, with the major added bonus being that the company were really getting tired that you wanted a fresh young star to be the world champion instead of watching a 17-minute slow and boring Batista Randy Orton match as your main event of freaking WrestleMania. So at WrestleMania 30, Bryan single-handedly carried this WrestleMania on his own, with him opening with a great opening match with Triple H and winning. It was one of Triple H's best Mania matches, and then going on to win the World Heavyweight Champion at the main event of WrestleMania. But even with all that grind, all that hard time convincing the company that Bryan was going to be their guy for the company, looking back, we didn't even know that there was a certain big dog looking around in the shadows, because no matter what Bryan did, Vince still wanted Roman Reigns to be their guy.
In WWE, when I won the World Championship at WrestleMania 30, I wasn't their guy. We really want to transition to Roman Reigns being the guy. Like Vince legitimately sat me down and told me that. And it was really funny because at SummerSlam you'll wrestle Brock Lesnar and he'll destroy you, and then we'll build up Brock Lesnar for Roman Reigns, and Roman will be the next, and we'll make Roman the next John Cena.
Yup. That old man was that stubborn. But when that story sold, the Authority took their focus on the Shield, who originally were together before the Shield turned face and decided to go against the Authority. So the Shield were punished for their actions, having to do an 11-on-3 handicap match. But when that wasn't enough punishment for them, Triple H had to step up the playing field by reuniting Evolution. Evolution was such a generational faction, a faction dedicated 4 men running the show, while 2 veterans were tasked with helping the new generation of wrestlers in Randy Orton and Batista. This faction made history in the WWE, which is kinda odd to say when they were given this reaction for their reunion. Come on, man, Austin Theory gets a better reaction than that. What the hell, man? This then led to the Shield taking on Evolution at Extreme Rules 2014. This was a great match, and really the best match out of the whole show. Evolution tried their best, but the Shield pulled off the W. So Triple TKO didn't like how their loss went, so they went to go punish the Shield once again by having Dean Ambrose defend his United States champion in a 20-man Battle Royal match. A match that Dean ended up losing to Sheamus. So the Shield took on Evolution once again in a 6-man elimination match at Payback. But this match really solidified the Shield taking out the Unks because they eliminated everyone from Evolution without losing a single member from their team. That is badass! But even with 2 L's under their belt, Triple H still wanted to have the last laugh, and that's what led to, as you know, the Shield breaking up and Seth Rollins joining the Authority. Hey look, he hit him with the Shield chair! This is... I can't believe they actually said that on TV. The Shield chair!
Rollins with a Shield chair!
Now this was a long time coming, as WWE had really big plans to turn Seth and Roman into future main event stars, while Dean Ambrose on the other hand... I already made a whole video explaining on what that dude went through. But the Authority bringing in such new power that WWE's roster and the audience were really getting tired of them. So Triple H made the challenge for John Cena and his team, in that if they defeat the Authority at Survivor Series, the Authority is no more. A match that had the biggest highlight being Big Show turning heel for the 400th time, Dolph Ziggler pulling off an Iron Man performance by eliminating every single member of the Authority except for Mark Henry, and we will never see this kind of consistency from Dolph Ziggler ever again. But even when Triple H tried to intervene to help Seth win, Sting would make his grand WWE debut. A debut that took so long to happen because Sting didn't want to get buried like the other WCW stars. And well, in hindsight, he was right. So Sting stopped Triple H in his tracks and helped the good guys win, leaving the Authority to be gone forever. And it only lasted a month. Great. But Triple H was still upset at what Sting did, so he challenged them to a match at WrestleMania 31. The match was all fun, with DX coming out to help Triple H and NWO coming out to help Sting. What? They hated Sting. Why the hell would they want to help their biggest op? who cares? The two groups brawled. Kevin Nash tore his quad because of course he did, and controversially, Triple H took the dub, brother. This was Sting's debut match in WWE, and he lost to Triple H. Man, these guys are so petty. Now, in defense of this, there was an actual reason for this. As Road Dogg stated in a podcast, Triple H had to win this match with Sting as a way to build up to his next match at WrestleMania 32 with The Rock, which is a feud that's been boiling over here and there, but a big hint of the match happening was when The Rock and Ronda Rousey took down Triple H and Stephanie later on the show at WrestleMania 31. These were the pieces in place to make it all happen, but then, just like how all Dwayne Johnson stories end and ruined because he was too busy making movies.
And the finish was orchestrated that way because at the moment it was Hunter Rock again at the next Mania. You know what I mean? So they wanted Hunter to be strong, Hunter to stay strong, and then work with Rock at the next year. And 2 months into that fell apart. You know what I mean? And so then you'd felt like you put the wrong guy over.
The match was cancelled, leaving Sting to lose his first match for no reason. But Triple H still needs his scheduled WrestleMania match for some reason for next year, so what do we do? Give me the world champion. So at Royal Rumble 2016, Vince McMahon had Roman Reigns defend his WWE champion in the Royal Rumble match, coming out at number 1. Now let's be real, we all knew nobody really liked Roman Reigns because he kept being pushed down our throats, but maybe if you give him this Iron Man performance, you can have the fans give a little respect for him as he went through this whole match all on his own. But why have all that when we can do something much worse? Because Vince McMahon had the League of Nations kill Roman and leave him unconscious. But you know, instead of just bringing him back into the ring and eliminating him out of the Rumble and thus losing his title, they just decided to let him be taken care of by the paramedics. And Roman only came back in time before the number 30 entrant could show up, which in theory is such a smart heel tactic to do, not something a face should do. You idiots! Either way, this was all to set up Triple H being the surprise number 30 entrant, eliminating Roman Reigns out of the match, leaving him and Dean Ambrose to be the potential winners of the World Champion. Now, Dean Ambrose was the top face of the company. People loved his personality, believed that he should be pushed further than just being stuck in the mid-card while his other Shield buddies get main event time. This could have been the absolute best time to put the belt on Dean Ambrose. But you knew it! We gotta make our big dog look strong for WrestleMania! So Triple H won the Rumble, and it was very, very, very clear to us as to where this was heading. Triple H was going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 32. But first, Triple H had to go through some obstacles. So at Fastlane, a triple threat was decided on who would face Triple H for the World Champion at WrestleMania. Those competitors being Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and the guy who was totally taking the pin, which is exactly what happened. But even with a loss, Dean Ambrose still came out to challenge Triple H for the title as he believes Triple H is too scared to fight a guy like him. So at Roadblock 2016, Triple H defended his World Champion against Dean Ambrose. I bet none of you remember that pay-per-view. And this was a really good match, and even with Triple H not wrestling as often and being much older, bro still got it. And for reference, Triple H was 46 around this time, which is around how old CM Punk was starting his current run as World Champion again. But this match is only known for one thing, and that was the false finish of Dean Ambrose using his finisher and the ref counting the 1, 2, 3, but then immediately not counting it because Dean's foot was under the bottom rope. Literally everyone was on their feet in shock, but then whoop-de-doo, some BS rule caused Dean to not get the win. And you can tell that Dean couldn't even get his foot under the bottom rope to make the spot work because not once did WWE show a replay of proof that Dean's foot was under the bottom rope. But after that, everyone and their mom knew that Dean wasn't winning this. Pedigree, 1, 2, 3, and Triple H takes the W. Oh, my voice really hurts when I do that. Now listen, Triple H is a part-timer. He's done what he's needed to do. He's defending his title, now he can just take the backseat and just do light work in trying to help prepare for his next match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. But this Triple H, oh my gosh bro, he was not ready to let that brass ring go. Because the night after Roadblock, Triple H gets confronted by Dolph Ziggler of all people, criticizing how guys like him and Dean Ambrose could have done so much more for the company but can't because of the corrupted system that the McMahons created. Which is low-key true. He's spitting the truth. So Dolph calls Stephanie an idiot, so Stephanie does what she does best, and that's slapping men and never really getting her karma back. And she still does it to this day and nothing happens to her. Seriously, she sucks. But Stephanie was so offended by Dolph's comments that she now wants to punish him for it. And instead of facing some random other heel, she wants Dolph to face Triple H live on Raw. Which is quite insane to see because that's something we rarely see nowadays. In today's time, the World Champions are heavily protected as they barely get any matches. They only fight on pay-per-views, which yes, that's what champs should do, but come on. Back in my day, I gotta stop saying that. But during a time we had world champions wrestling on free TV every week. We need that back sometime. Either way, they had a pretty decent structured match with Dolph really playing his underdog role perfectly as always, but Triple H still got the W. I could be overthinking this, but I definitely feel like they gave this match to Dolph because Dolph was always getting comparisons of being the next generation Shawn Michaels. I mean, Shawn Michaels himself even admitted that Dolph asked permission to use his super kick as a finisher. So, you know, it's the little things. And another thing I want to point out, Triple H is the heel in all this, and yet he's won both of his 2 matches in back-to-back nights. Clean! He didn't cheat or anything. Nowadays, we're in an era where faces need to be constantly protected by chicken coward heels, cheating their ways into winning and never really accomplishing something substantial without some backup. So it blows my mind to see a top heel champion, especially for a part-timer like Triple H, who also needs time to book NXT, still goes out of his way to work 2 matches in a 2-day span, and they were full-length matches without interference. Like, that's freaking sick. But now with all that, the good is all gone. Now let's go back and look at the poo. In WWE, no matter what they did, they still couldn't get the fans to cheer for Roman Reigns because people kept cheering for the heel Triple H while still booing the babyface Roman Reigns. They even tried to make us sympathize with Roman by having Triple H beat Roman up so bad that he started to bleed out. But 2 things that went wrong with this. 1, the crowd started chanting, "This is awesome," to Roman getting beat up.
He knows what he's up against at WrestleMania. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Roman's been busted.
And 2, a video immediately went viral of commentator Byron Saxton handing a blood capsule to Roman in the most obvious way possible. Like, bro didn't even try to make it subtle. So when Roman did return to get his revenge on Trips, it still didn't work. Their whole feud is just Trips taking all these bumps while Roman tries to look tough, but no matter what, the fans still didn't cheer for him. And this is what you've all been waiting for, the 6-star classic between Roman Reigns and Triple H for the World Champion at WrestleMania 32. Now I know I've said all these nice things about Triple H, but this is where it goes straight down the toilet, because this is where we head to the all Triple H territory of how his big matches go. He'd always come up with a big entrance, but for this year it seems like he was on a budget because all he did was have Stephanie do some monologue and him walking with some dudes in skull masks while wearing the WWE champion. This looked kinda dull. And speaking of dull, so was this match. It was slow, the crowd was always dead, but still had time to chant, "Roman sucks! Roman sucks!" They were even chanting for Shinsuke Nakamura, who only just debuted the night prior. That's motion right there. They tried to get Roman cheered once again by having him kill Stephanie, and it was the biggest pop out of the whole match. But overall, Roman Reigns, he's your champion, boo! And that was Triple H's last active run in the WWE, and honestly, if we just cut the authority part of it because it was just so bad and focused on his solo run, bro still got it. You can tell he still had that passion in him. He didn't slack, he worked a match just like how he'd usually do, and he committed to doing 2 matches back to back even when he really didn't have to. Hell, even after Mania, Triple H still spent majority of that month doing house show events, even after his storyline was over, which is just insane. The only stinker is that he wasted his investment on Roman Reigns, which yes, he does end up becoming a star way later, but oh my gosh, imagine if they just turned him heel right now instead of just making Roman so insufferable for the last couple of years up until he got interesting again once he turned heel. But either way, Triple H, this run did you such justice, except for that Roman stinker. But overall, thank you Triple H for your work. Now stop putting celebrities on my damn show! Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe because we're on the road to 350 subscribers, baby. And until next time, ciao!